Hi, my name is Dr. Pecoraro. I'm a chiropractor in Westfield, New Jersey. And the title of this video is a computer analogy as to how chiropractic problems might affect your health. To recap, to briefly state, I've said it in other videos, but a chiropractic problem is basically when any of the bones of the spine are stuck within their normal range of movement, but they're still stuck, and they're either interfering with the joints, muscles, discs, or nerves, or any combination of those things. So today I'm going to speak about the nerves being interfered with. Now the analogy is a computer. Let's say you have a computer, and the computer would represent your body and your brain. And the person working the computer would be analogous to your being, so to speak, your mind. And the keyboard would be analogous to the bones of the spine. And the wires in the computer, the inner workings, would be similar to the nervous system. And the reason I put it this way is because nerve messages go from your brain down through your spine and out to different parts of your body, and then back again, constantly going back and forth. So in the computer, you're at the computer, you're constantly sending messages into the computer and back to the computer, and they're going through this keyboard, which would be like the spine, analogy to the spine. And let's say 3 of those keys were stuck within their normal range. The normal range would be that they go all the way down and all the way up. So one is stuck halfway, one is stuck a quarter of the way, one is stuck 3/4 of the way. Now, if any of those keys are stuck, you're still going to be able to use the computer for a lot of things, but not for everything. And it's going to depend on how much the key is stuck and what it exactly does and how often you use it. Same in your spine. You may have a bone that's causing interference with a nerve, and if it's a little bit of interference, you may not realize it. If it's a lot of interference, you may. And it may just be a pain in the neck, and maybe you know it and maybe you don't know it. It's so complicated, it's difficult to tell. But using this analogy, let's say the Z key is stuck so it only goes down 3/4 of the way. Well, it's not going to really make that much difference because you probably don't use Z's too much. But some people do. So someone who does use a lot of Z's will have difficulty with this key being stuck on the computer. And this Z would represent, say, one bone in someone's spine. So that person may or may not, depending on whether they use a lot of these Z's, depending on whether a lot of messages go through the nerve that's affected, may or may not find it difficult to get by with this bone out of place. And let's say, take a different key now. Let's say the key L. Well, this way, let's say it's stuck halfway. Well, if it's stuck halfway and maybe half the time it works, half the time it doesn't work. So now everybody uses L's sometime or another, but we don't use them all the time. So it's going to interfere at least sometimes. But the key goes down halfway. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So you can do what you need to do, but it's going to be difficult and a pain in the neck, and it's going to take you longer, it's going to be harder, but it can still get done. Now let's take another key, like the E key, which is used a lot. And let's say the E key will only go down 1/4 of the way. It only works, say, 1/4 of the time. But E is a letter that everybody uses a lot. So it's going to interfere a lot. But only a quarter of the time it's not working. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And this would be like, again, like a bone in your spine, and the message is going through that nerve by that bone. And so again, it's going to be difficult, more difficult to do things, but you can still do some things. And since it doesn't get stuck all the time, sometimes it'll seem like things are normal, sometimes it'll seem like things aren't normal. So this is the same way that chiropractic problems in your spine, can interfere with nerves and affect your health. Sometimes you'll know it, sometimes you won't know it. On some people, the same bone will cause a big problem if this is something that if the nerve affected is a nerve that they're using a lot. And on other people, that same thing won't really be affected that much in their life. So you can see there's a lot of different things that can be going on. So what the chiropractor is doing is he's looking at your body and he says, oh, well, these keys are stuck. I'm going to unstick them. Now, there may be something else going on with your computer. I don't know, but you got to at least fix these things, otherwise the computer's not going to work right. And if you get these fixed and you're still having a problem, well then we look at something else. So this is the general idea of how a chiropractic problem would work with your health. Now, I hope it made it a little clearer instead of less clear for you what might be able to be done by your local chiropractor. And I hope this information has been helpful to you, and I'll try to bring you more information at another time. Thank you.